Hello world, welcome to my video. For this video, I will be talking about the biblical teaching of being called to live by faith and not by sight, and relating it to the concept of a black box in programming. Before we begin, if you're new to my video, I would like to mention that this is the Visual Studio 2022 Integrated Development Environment, where I will write and build my example console program for this video, with C#10. For starters, I have two verses that I would like to share with you today. They will serve as the anchor for today's episode. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 7 reads, "For we live by faith and not by sight." And how might one do that, you may ask? Here is another verse from the Bible that I think could help us understand this call a little better. Hebrews chapter 11 verse 1-3 reads, "Now faith is confidence in what we hope for, in assurance about what we do not see. This is what the ancients were commended for. By faith, we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what is visible." From these Bible teachings, we are being called to live by faith and not by sight. In times when we cannot grasp why things go the way they go under God's supervision, especially in a season of waiting while being so accustomed to instant gratifications, we are to persist in faith and not give up just because we cannot see the end to our wait. And as I meditate on this teaching, I realized that trusting in God's system without knowing when and how He will work is like a black box in programming. To explain what black box means, it is a term in programming when we know the inputs and subsequent outputs to a system, but the internal workings of the system are not visible to us. For example, Microsoft offers a library of APIs to the .NET system. We're not in the privy to know how they are programmed, but we can know for sure how to use it through published documentations. To show you this, I will demonstrate how I can use a class system from .NET through guidelines from its documentation. For today's example, I will use the random class from .NET to create a random generator of Bible verses I have from a list. Okay, so first things first, I will build up the logic of today's program. I will have a list with all my Bible verses, and I will have a method responsible for randomly choosing a verse from the pool and printing it out to screen for display. Now, I'm gonna use the random class and create an instance of it to use in my program. Let me show you about this class from Microsoft documentation. From the published document about this .NET class, you only get to see what it can be used for and how it's used with examples. But it does not disclose the mechanism behind this class, or how it supports the different APIs made available with this class. You just have to trust that it works from the example provided and by trying it out for yourself. So going back to finish up my program, I will use the object of the class and the API I need to randomly pick a verse from my list, and I will do a printout of the selected verse. Now that we are done with our random generator, let's go back to the section we have set aside from the start for execution lines to set our gameplay through the console window. Let's build the program and run it. As you can see from the console screen, with every enter I hit from my keyboard, I get a verse from my list by random printed to the screen. To summarize this video, we have an introduction to what black box can be in programming. It is not uncommon to have to work with black boxes in programming, especially leveraging on published systems and frameworks available in the programming space. And you don't really have to know what goes down in details behind the scene in order to use the black box. All you need is a functional level of understanding in terms of the required inputs and the expected outputs to use it. Drawing parallel to this, we do not need to know how God works down to every detail to know that God is working for us in His sovereignty. God is real regardless of our senses. The required input is faith, even in blindness, and the subsequent output we can expect, and this is not my words but God's word, He's present with us. Therefore, we are called to live by faith and not by sight. With that, we have come to the end of the segment. I hope you have learned something from this video, be it programming or the Bible. Thanks for watching and hope to see you again next time. God bless.